Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, Oxford Schools gets a safety grant, Township Board approves millages for the August ballot, and a Daniel Axford student hosts a podcast.
Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. Michigan State Police awarded a grant to Oxford schools. Superintendent Tim Throne announced the grant at the April 9th school board meeting. The grant is for about $442,000. Oxford must match 25% of the grant money according to terms of the grant. The funds will go to improving security throughout the school district.
Oxford Township approved millages for the August 6th ballot. The proposal won a 6-0 vote. One millage is for a 10-year, one millage increase to fund the Parks and Recs Department. If approved, the millage runs December 2020 through December 2029. The other millage is for funding the Oxford Village Police Department, and this millage remains the same as its current 3.79 mils. The police millage would run from December 2020 through December 2024.
The Oxford High School Team 2137 robotics team competed in the state championships at Saginaw Valley State. The team placed 37th in the qualification matches, competing against 39 other teams from across the state. Team Oxford had a few mishaps, which led to a lower rank than desired, but optimistically, the team looks to continue to improve.
The Oxford Township Planning Commission approved preliminary plans for a 50-unit residential condo development called The Woods at Tullamore. The 50 units would be built on the south side of East Drainer Road. The plan is delayed until 2 access points to the site can be established, possibly through variances. The site would be bordered by Crossroads for Youth to the east and the Oxford Hills Golf Course to the west and south. The plans go to the ZBA, Zoning Board of Appeals, for further modifications.
The Parks and Recreation Department will be paving their parking lot at Seymour Lake Park. The monies are from leftover 2016 bond funds. About $175,000 from the $2 million bond will be spent on the project. The Parks Department is also reusing old light poles in the park, which McDonald's donated to the community.
If you are a podcast listener, you may want to tune into this little guy. Daniel Axford's second grader Jack Collins, who hosts a podcast where he talks about subjects that interest him. Recently he talked about the circadian rhythms and dinosaurs, easy for him to say. Jack says he writes things down that he speaks with his parents about in casual conversation, and then talks about those subjects on his show. His favorite science podcast, Brains On, gives his show kudos. He also receives feedback from his classmates, friends, and even his principal, Chad Boyd at DA. Congratulations. What a cute story.
Yeah, he sounds like a little brainiac.
Oh my gosh,
That's
he
terrific.
sure does. Well, I'm going to tune in. I'm going to find out where he's at and listen. What a cool thing that he actually pays attention to his parents enough to sit and write down about the subjects they're talking about. Wow.
You parents
cool
want to
kid.
keep an eye on this kid at this age because, you don't want him to get out of control. He's a pretty smart guy.
Well done, too, apparently.
You know, talk about unique things. I saw in my backyard a rather interesting little object.
Unique object?
A very unique
what is that?
object. It's a albino robin, believe it or not.
Really?
It's all white.
Wow, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Well, he's all dressed up for the ball by the sounds of it.
I think
I've never
so.
heard of that before.
Well, he's trying to chase all the other little robins around, but she hasn't caught one yet, I don't
and
think.
they're probably looking at him saying, "You look too much like snow. Go away."
Yeah, maybe we can get a picture of him, put him
How
on air.
funny. Yeah, we're going to have to do that. Keep an eye on us because if anybody can do it, he can.
Well.
That's it for Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories or others, you can pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, catch us on our website, occtv.org, or on YouTube, and of course our regular cable channel Spectrum, channel 199, or AT&T channel 99.
And coming up soon, OCTV's very own Cody Wright with school sports and schooling around, incorporating great topics with Alexis Ware. And you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
There's a lot of history to Oxford. Hidden around every corner, deep in every crack, and sometimes right in front of you, waiting to be discovered. If you just dig a little, you'll find the great history of our beautiful town. Welcome to Historic Oxford.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, people with cystic fibrosis may experience more severe bacterial infections if they carry a certain type of virus, even though the virus actually targets bacteria. The so-called filamentous bacteriophage seems to prevent antibiotics from reaching the bacteria, making infections harder to treat. Cystic fibrosis is a genetic disease that leads to the buildup of thick mucus in organs, including the lungs. The mucus can provide a breeding ground for harmful bacteria such as Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Elizabeth Bergener at Stanford University and her colleagues tested mucus samples taken from 58 people who have cystic fibrosis and a P. aeruginosa infection. They found 21 of them, 36%, carried bacteria-infecting viruses called filamentous bacteriophages. We know bacteriophages exist everywhere, says Bergener, but they are often overlooked by health researchers because they don't target human cells. What's more, those who carry the virus had significantly more P. aeruginosa in their mucus than non-carriers. And some of this P. aeruginosa seems to be resistant to 3 of the most common antibiotics used to treat such infections. Filamentous bacteriophages are known to be able to bind to other molecules in the mucus, such as DNA and proteins, to form a very viscous film. This film serves as a shield that antibiotics can't penetrate, says Bergener, which may be why the P. aeruginosa appears drug-resistant in the presence of the virus. There is a need to take this bacteriophage more seriously, says Joanna Goldberg at Emory University in Georgia. Antibiotic resistance is a major concern among cystic fibrosis patients as they are left with fewer options to treat life-threatening infections. Goldberg suggests doctors may need to test the presence of the virus before deciding which type of antibiotics to use. The new findings also suggest a new therapy approach, says Bergener. If this virus is making Pseudomonas strong, we can design treatments that attach and block it to clear the infection, she says. Keep on working. In our next story, men who have children later in life may pass on changes acquired from their environment, a phenomenon reminiscent of Lamarckian evolution. French naturalist Jean-Baptiste Lamarck thought that if organisms change their bodies during their life to adapt to their environment, those changes could be passed on to children. Giraffes stretching their necks to reach tall trees and then passing longer necks on to the next generation is a classic example of this incorrect theory of evolution. Now we know organisms evolved through random DNA mutations. Giraffes with mutations that cause longer necks pass these changes on to their offspring. But a study of children of older dads suggests it may be possible to pass adaptations to subsequent generations in other ways. Dan Eisenberg at the University of Washington in Seattle and his team have found telomeres, stretches of repetitive DNA at the ends of our chromosomes. These shorten each time a cell divides, so it usually gets shorter over a lifetime. If telomeres get too short, cells may stop dividing or even die. A woman's eggs are all made from before she is born, but the cells in men's testes divide throughout their lives. Because we inherit telomere lengths from the egg and sperm cells that make us, the children of older fathers should, in theory, have shorter telomeres, but they don't. This is probably because an enzyme called telomerase, which extends telomeres by adding more DNA to them, is very active in the testes. Several studies have shown that sperm from older men have longer telomeres than average. This may enable older men to reproduce without having children with dangerously short telomeres. Because telomerase adds DNA to chromosomes, it may be possible that they pass this acquired non-genetic trait, longer telomeres, to offspring. Studying the DNA of nearly 3,000 grandparents plus their children and grandchildren, Eisenberg's team found that this may be the case. A child's telomere length correlates with the age at which their fathers and grandfathers reproduced, Eisenberg told a meeting of the American Association of Physical Anthropologists in Ohio. Because telomere length may play a role in longevity, this could represent older fathers adapting their children's DNA to an environment in which it may be possible to live a longer life, says Eisenberg. The father's age at reproduction is likely to be containing a signal about what recent environment was like, he says. It breaks some of the ways biology is supposed to work. Eisenberg says that while the idea that the environment influences DNA in this way yet isn't proven, it should be taken more seriously. It could be a multi-generational signaling mechanism, not so crude as the giraffe's neck, but there's a similarity. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of School News. I'm Alexis Ware. Today, April 22nd, Bridges Day School kicks off the schedule with their Spirit Week, and OHS has their Leadership District Talent Show from 7 until 9 p.m. Tuesday, April 23rd, the Board of Education meeting is being held at Oxford High School from 6:30 until 8:30 p.m. Wednesday, the senior commencement speaker speech is due. Thursday, Lakeville is having their Thankful Thursday event from 8:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. Oxford Middle School is also hosting their World Music event in the Performing Arts Center starting at 7 p.m. Next week picks up a little slow with concerts back-to-back on the school schedule. May 1st, Oxford Elementary School is having their assembly from 9:30 a.m. until 11 a.m. Thursday, May 2nd, Bridges is hosting their senior banquet from 3 until 5 p.m. And Friday is the last day to submit Oxford Early College applications. Before we close out today's show, I would like to give some special acknowledgement to some special students. Those students being Jake Collins, a second grader at Daniel Axford, with his own podcast, Jordan Garrett, an Oxford High School senior with a 4.1 GPA and many extracurriculars, and of course, the extremely talented boys and girls of Team Torque who made it to level 3 this past week in the Michigan State Championships. Another team of students who do an outstanding job in is the Business Professionals of America group. Take a look at this video they put together for their entry video. Take a look.
I'm Mr. Van Allen.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Here's my portfolio.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in such late notice.
Oh, sure thing.
Appreciate it. It says here you have experience cart pushing.
Yeah, admire.
Okay then. All right. Oh, and you have you're on the BPA? What is that?
Well, BPA, or Business Professionals of America, located in Columbus, Ohio, is an organization targeted towards high schoolers to shape them into future business professionals. BPA aims to help students develop leadership, academic, and technical skills. BPA is the leading career and technical student organization with 43,000 members, 2,300 chapters in 23 states, including Puerto Rico.
Oh, whoa. Slow down for a minute. Now, exactly what do you do in BPA?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Students are given the opportunity to pick what subject they would like to pursue in BPA. Some examples of topics include coding, speech, video production, presentation management, and many more. BPA also includes a reward program for students who participate in community services. Students will compete with one another and be scored on their performance. These students spend roughly 3.5 months working on their topics, completing tasks in order to convey their messages effectively. Depending on the topic, students may work solo or with a group. Throughout their time as a BPA member, they can also participate in one of the most influential programs in BPA, the Torch Awards. This program promotes leadership, service, cooperation, knowledge, friendship, love, faith, and hope, and patriotism, all through community service. Once the time is up, students within each state go to regionals and compete for first place. The students that are talented and lucky enough to make it past regionals move on to states, where the best in the state compete. After states, it's off to nationals, where the best students in the country compete.
But don't take it from me. Here are accounts of people currently involved in BPA.
Throughout my 2 years as a BPA member, some of the skills I've learned are time management, which is really helpful, and bettering my leadership skills, so just having more confidence and not being afraid to put myself out there, as well as organizational skills have really helped me in everyday life. Like school, I use these skills all the time when managing homework and my social life and any other activities that I do. Regarding the leadership skills that I've built upon, they help me a lot with presentations and meeting new people and making friends and just getting out of my comfort zone.
No matter what careers students choose, the skills they get in BPA are going to be very beneficial, from time management to interpersonal communications, even presentation skills. These are traits that everyone works to develop throughout their entire lives, and BPA provides a great opportunity for students to do that.
Like in the interviews I showed you, the long-lasting effects of BPA are endless. The experience that the students gain from participating in BPA will stick with them throughout their careers. They will be taught business professionalism, patriotism, work ethic, public speaking, and community service. After completing BPA, the students will already be given an idea of what their futures have in store for them. For today's students, tomorrow's business professionals.
I'll consider your offer.
Well, okay then.
That was the BPA group from Oxford High School. Look forward to seeing more of them on the Schooling Around segment. Until next time, I'm Alexis Ware. Stay tuned for Cody Wright with School Sports.
What's happening, Wildcat fans? Cody Wright back here once again for this week's sports report. Now that spring break is over, we got to get back to our early spring sports schedules this week. We got a lot to go over, so let's not waste any more time and take a look. First off, the boys baseball team played on the 9th this week. Freshman club facing a doubleheader on the road against Stony Creek, splitting the series with a 7-6 loss and a 14-0 win. The JV team also played on the road, taking on Troy Athens, taking the win 7-2. And the varsity club, we managed to get it out to that game. As cold as it was on that hill, the boys took the win. It was a battle back and forth. 7-5 was the final score. On the flip side, the girls softball team, with their impressive run last year, making program history with a trip to the state playoffs, ending in an outstanding 3rd place finish this season, has 8 returning athletes. This is very good news how good the team was last year. The important games of the season that the team places emphasis on are the away doubleheaders against Lake Orion and Clarkston. The girls will be starting off this season on the road with a doubleheader against Romeo. The boys and girls lacrosse team also is back at it this week as well. The boys taking it to Lapeer on the road with a final of 16-2. The girls team also dominating on the road, taking down Davison 11-1. Very, very dominant set of games for Oxford's lacrosse program this week. Also, the girls tennis team started their first game of the season, taking on Lake Orion. Although they did fall in the match to a final of 5-3, we now await the results of the 2 follow-up games, taking on Royal Oak at home and Farmington Harrison on the road. This year's team is fairly young, mostly full of sophomores and juniors, which tells us we'll be seeing this group of athletes at least for the next few years. And last but certainly not least, the boys track team had their first meet of the season against Lake Orion. Although we did lose the meet 91-37, there was 71 personal records set that day. Last season, the boys qualified several athletes for the state finals. This season, we are looking at a much smaller team in numbers. Expected to be some of the team's leading scorers this year are seniors Sam Murray, Anthony Romeo, and juniors Trey Townsend, Scott Matterson, and Shane Ross. It should be an exciting year. April 27th, we here at OCTV will be covering the annual Elmer Ball Oxford International hosted here in Oxford. 20 schools are already signed up, so we look forward to that. And that's going to just about do it for this week's report. For any more info on these events and more, go to oxfordathletics.org. There's plenty of game breakdowns, statistics, rosters, and more that can be found right there. That is oxfordathletics.org. While you're at it, might as well check us out at OCCTV.org. All of our coverage of these events and more can be found on our YouTube page, which you can access through the website. Once again, that is OCCTV.org. And that's going to do it. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you to tune in next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats.
Hi, I'm Debbie Wren from Daybreak.
And I'm Terry Stiles from Daybreak.
Yes, you can see us every day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. We are here to talk about what's going on in our community, what our businesses are doing, what our businesses have to offer. We have lots of information to provide you.
So don't miss us Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. See you there.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, Hyundai is packing its once car-heavy lineup with an increasing variety of utility vehicles, including the diminutive new Venue that promises to be the smallest and most affordable of its increasingly stylish offerings. The Venue, smaller even than the subcompact Kona, will arrive at Hyundai dealerships in the fourth quarter following its presentation at the New York Auto Show. Hyundai says it's looking forward for customers who want lots of safety features and tech in an even smaller package. The Hyundai SUV lineup can be compared with the pieces of a chessboard, said Sang-Yup Lee, Executive Vice President of Design for Hyundai Motor Group. Our new Palisade is the king, but we are missing the smaller piece. And that's where the Venue comes in, he said in a press release. Hyundai said the Venue is its seventh utility offering. The Korean brand said the Venue will be the most affordable Hyundai utility vehicle without immediately revealing prices. The Kona, longer by 5 inches but otherwise similar in dimensions, starts at a sticker price of just over $21,000, including shipping. Hyundai's sibling company, Kia, sells the popular Soul subcompact starting at $18,495, including shipping. Hyundai wants the Venue to stand out in a crowd with two-tone color options for roof, mirrors, and trim, in addition to bold exterior lines and youthful colors, including denim, the company said. Inside, the Mini crossover gets an optional 8-inch color screen with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity, plus available heated front seats and side mirrors. The Venue is also a safety play by Hyundai, offering forward collision avoidance, lane keep assist, blind spot monitor, driver attention warning, rear cross traffic alert, and drive modes that include one for snow to help maintain traction in the front-wheel drive vehicle. Power comes from a 1.6-liter engine mated to a 6-speed manual transmission or an optional continuously variable automatic. The brand estimates the Venue will get up to 33 miles per gallon in combined city and highway driving and is the ideal alternative for a subcompact car given its superior utility and style. And on the technical front, electronically controlled suspensions have been on the road for years, but Tenneco engineers have devised a new type of intelligent shock absorber in which the circuit board, sensors, valves, and electronics are contained inside the unit. That makes an intelligent active suspension system can be integrated into the vehicle without a major overhaul of the vehicle's electrical system or architecture. More important, the shocks allow steering, handling, and ride to adapt automatically to road conditions, improving comfort and performance. And moving beyond the common vehicle feature of selecting either a sport mode or luxury mode ride, Tenneco's digital ride shocks enable the vehicle to offer a selection of up to 8 modes. Ben Patel, Tenneco's Chief Technology Officer, believes automakers will increasingly go towards tunable suspension systems as a product differentiator. One of the benefits is packaging, Patel said of the Smart Shock. It's basically a drop-in. If you look at the top and bottom mounts, they look exactly the same as the traditional damper. We integrated all the electronics. It can be integrated into a current vehicle with no tearing up of the corners. And at FCA, engineers from Fiat Chrysler, Mexican engine parts supplier Nemak, and the U.S. government's Oak Ridge National Laboratory have jointly developed a blend of aluminum alloy for cylinder blocks and heads that raises the heat threshold they can withstand from 390 degrees currently to about 572 degrees. Hotter running engines are expected to deliver big gains in fuel economy and emissions, and FCA is evaluating the alloy to use in upcoming cylinder heads. Cylinder head alloys are the most demanding application in an engine if you consider the fact that the casting is smaller than the block but more complex because other parts are attached to it, says Amit Shyam, Oak Ridge's lead researcher on the project. It's more demanding from a thermal-mechanical aspect as well. The head sees many thermal cycles. If that was solved, it would be a very major advancement for better engine materials. And that's why we focused on the cylinder head alloys for initially lighter duty automotive engines. Hotter running internal combustion engines are a critical area of interest for the industry in the next decade. Despite efforts to roll back federal fuel economy standards, the targets set by the Obama administration stand, and automakers are still sprinting to meet them. Improved thermal efficiency will likely be an area of competitive focus. The less heat an engine wastes, the more efficiently it runs. Toyota has recently made big gains by improving thermal efficiency, bumping the Corolla's engine to 40%. Wow. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways.